For the penultimate session today, we have author and thought leader Arun Maira. Mr. Maira has a unique combination of experience as a hands-on leader in business, public and social sectors, as well as a consultant to leaders. He is a thought leader on subjects of leadership and systems transformation. He was a member of India's Planning Commission from 2009 to 14. Along with leadership roles in companies like BCG India and Tata Group India, he has served on the boards of many large corporations, NGOs, and educational institutions, and retired as the chairman of HelpAge International in 2024. He has written several books on institutional transformation. His most recent book was published in 2023 and was titled Shaping the Future: How to Be, Think, and Act in the New World, a guide for systems leaders. Today, he will offer his perspectives on why the world needs a new ethical toolkit. This title is inspired by another one of his book. Joining him on stage for a fireside chat will be Shibani Sethi, director of the Gurgaon Moms Book Club. We have Shibani Sethi on stage, please. And I can see Mr. Maira walking in as well. So may we have you on stage?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be amidst the stalwarts of the PR industry, talking to another stalwart. And Mr. Maira, it's such an honor to be to engage with a visionary whose legacy is truly unparalleled. You cannot even imagine how anxious I was to be here today, of course, and also the fact that we hadn't met in the past. But it's such a pleasure, and like I said, I'm truly honored to be here. Heartiest congratulations on your book, Transforming Systems. And I have to tell you, I don't know, it's not here, but I'm carrying it. It's called Transforming Systems, and I urge everybody to get a copy of this. It's truly insightful and so timely, rooted in ethics, in collaboration, and empathy. And I have to tell you that this is one book which kept me intrigued and engaged throughout. And not only is it inspiring, I think it's essential for today's times. I would just want to thank you very much for your wisdom and sharing your experiences with us, Mr. Maira.
Thank you so much, Shibani. She's made me so nervous the last 3 or 4 days. Because
would you believe that?
No, she has. I'll tell you why. I was told that, like the session before, Amit said, well, you speak for 20 minutes and get yourself prepared to say something. So I said, about what? He said, the book that we are going to be giving to everybody is called Transforming Systems, Why the World Needs a New Ethical Toolkit. So I decided to read the book again. It's not a very new book, but it's relatively new. And I read it through again, and I was making notes on how could I condense into 15 or 20 minutes the ideas in the book. Plus, Amit said, please don't use slides if you can. Avoid it. That makes it even harder, as you know. You're branding people, it's very difficult to do that. So what would I do? And then he said, fortunately, that actually you'll be in a conversation immediately from the start with this person who I'll introduce you to. And so we had a bit of a confusion when I said, well, apparently I'm going to have to say something for 20 minutes and then you are going to engage me in a conversation. She said, no, I'm going to start the conversation from the beginning. So from that moment onwards, she said, you feel no pressure. I said, yes, the pressure's on you to engage me and engage everybody in the conversation. I thought the pressure was over, but my goodness, she came back in about 24 hours and said, look, I've been halfway through your book, and I've got some 15 questions. And she said, I've been through the whole book, I've got 24 questions to ask you. तो मैं क्या तो मेरा टेस्ट हो जाएगा यहाँ आधे घंटे में I have to answer 24 questions. Can you at least give me the questions so that I can prepare myself? She did, but she agreed. It's going to be a natural conversation. So I don't know what order she's going to ask the questions or ask any different questions. It's perfectly okay. So thank you very much, and thank you, Amit and REPRISE here for arranging it in this fashion and with her.
I have to thank Amit and a lot for getting me here, because had I not known him and had he not known me, I wouldn't be sitting here in conversation with you. And for the fact that I'm going to be actually launching or discussing this book for the first time ever in this forum. Has this ever been discussed before, Mr. Maira?
No, this book has been discussed many times in forums of young people like yourself, professionals. Generally, those forums have been of people who are in the policy space or the developmental space. NGOs, policy people, policy advisory space, young people. This is the first time that this book is being discussed with branding and advertising people. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to this conversation with you, Mr. Maira. My first question, and just let me correct myself and to let you know, the questions were 24 because they were condensed. There was so much more that I wanted to ask you. But then we just have 45 minutes. Otherwise, we could go on. And like I said, I urge you to get this book because it's extremely insightful, very timely, and essential for today's times. Mr. Maira, my first question to you, and like I said, you're a visionary. You've been a corporate leader, a policy advisor, and a thoughtful leader on change. Looking back, which version of Arun Maira do you think made the biggest impact? And which one has been the most unfinished in the business?
I think my most transformative time for me personally was when I was invited just out of the blue by Dr. Manmohan Singh to come out of, I thought, my retirement at 65 after a long career with the business sector and the consulting sector, to become a member of India's Planning Commission. And that is, there are 8 or 9 people selected, and the Prime Minister chairs the body himself. So it's like the policy-making think tank of the country. And it's a very complex country, our country. So I was delighted to be invited at this level and to serve the country, which is what I always wanted to do ever since I was a little kid, Kavi. I want to serve the country, and I thought serving the country meant joining IAS, ICS as we were very young. And one road leads to another, and I went instead to Tata Administrative Services for many years, and then into consulting, and back to BCG here in India and consulting, and then retired, I thought. And then I get this call to serve the Planning Commission, so I said, there you are. Now I can serve the country, because unless you're with the government, how do you serve the country truly? But I told him, sir, I'm not an economist or any experience in government or official policy making. So how am I qualified to become a member of India's Planning Commission? And he said, it's because you're an economist, because you've never been in official policy making and government, that is why I want you. So that's a bit of a start. He said, because our policy-making process and the economics that we are been applying to our economy has not produced the results that India wants. Now, this is in 2009. After 1991, India growing, liberated, then India shining under the BJP first time, NDA first time, then they got dislodged because India wasn't really shining, and then Manmohan Singh brought back with Sonia Gandhi to revive the spirit of liberalization, which he was the founder of. And here's the man saying himself that what we did in 1991 and which we are continuing to pursue without thinking again is not serving this country well. And since you are not part of that, you haven't been held responsible for the good thing, which is shaping the new policy like he was, maybe can be a little more detached and say, well, why is it that India is not getting the results that India wants? The people of India's incomes are not rising, not enough jobs are being created, our environment is getting so despoiled, our growth rate is, at that time, the highest in the world short of China, but we are destroying our environment even faster than every country. More cities in India are getting polluted, more rivers are getting polluted, fewer people are getting good jobs, they get sort of casual jobs. So there's something wrong, and that is why. So that was a moment for me to profoundly learn the reality of my country, which the great Prime Minister was pointing out that I should start looking into. And the second is, why is it that the present theories of economics and policy making are not serving us well? So I had to deeply learn economics at that stage in my life. Learn from economists criticizing economics. And there were quite a few. But most economists continue to celebrate the present theory of free trade, globalization, capitalism, liberalization. So it has been a journey that is not finished. That turn in my journey then, I'm on this road, which is a road which is going to lead to a lot more learning.
That's a compelling insight, Mr. Maira. It's interesting how the biggest impact and the most unfinished business most often coexist. Now, having been at the helm of organizations and policy reforms, what do you consider your greatest personal achievement outside of your professional success?
Yeah, since you said the time is going to be short for the number of questions, I did put some cheat words just to remind myself to be short. Outside my professional success, and I'm going to say a poem if you don't mind.
That's my next question, so you can't do that yet.
No, I'm going to say a poem. You can ask me about why I write poems. My favorite poet is Robert Frost, and he's a poet, very great poet. And this poem is by Robert Frost, where he is on his farm in New England at autumn time, cold time, and he's chopping wood to store away wood for the winter, for the fires in his home. And he notices two poor men leaning over his fence, watching him cutting the wood. And he says this, they knew they had but to stay their stay, and all their logic would fill my head, that I had no right to play with what was another man's work for gain. But yield who will to that temptation, my object in living is to unite my vocation and my avocation as my two eyes make one insight. For only where love and need are one, and work is play for mortal stakes, is the deed ever really done for heaven's and the future's sakes. Wow. Love and need are one, avocation and vocation. When you said professional, and I always found it easier earlier to send, people would say, like, who are you? You took out a visiting card and it said something important about you or the name of the brand of the organization that you worked with, and that's who you are. It's your position and it's the brand of the company defines who you are. That's who you are. And so I changed, Tata's and then Arthur D. Little and then Boston Consulting Group and then lovely to say member planning commission with the Ashoka Chakra and gold. But that's who I am. And which of these was my profession? So when you say outside professional success, I come back again. I keep evolving. All of us keep evolving. And if you're going to limit our evolution to our one profession, and the progress in the profession is going to be measured by the larger titles that one gets, or the larger organizations in that profession that one serves, and the greater amount of money that one gets out of working in that profession, who are you? You are what the world says you are. It is on your card. I work with Coca-Cola, then I can place you. If you work with Ford, then I can place you. If you work with Pepsi, not Coca-Cola, even then. There's something different about you, but that's based on the brand that you hold. And so, based on this earlier discussion, I did think that some very profound personal questions that I've been asking myself.
That's a remarkable perspective, Mr. Maira.
Something, think about what is inside. Don't think about what the picture of the brand says. Don't think about the words. I have also helped large companies create brands, and that involved always understanding the value that their product or service was providing real people. And you must get known for the real value that you provide, like you were pointing out. So, but what is the value that they really want? Frankly, they may not want anything more than the salt. And so I have been feeling, and we'll come to that question about capitalism. Let's wait for it. You got a certain thing.
No, but that's truly a remarkable perspective, Mr. Maira. It's a reminder that our greatest achievements aren't always measured in titles or policies, really, but in a deeper impact we leave behind. And then there's Robert Frost and Mr. Maira. And on that, actually, I have a question for you, Mr. Maira. You've been a leader that everybody's looked up to, and a remarkable one at that. What drew you to poetry, and how has that influenced your approach towards transformation?
I write a lot, and you asked me to count how many books I'd written. I haven't.
22.
Well, I thought there were 14 or 15. So it does seem that I seem to keep writing without even counting that the book has been published. So when people ask me why I write, I honestly, Shibani, I write because it makes me think and learn. When I write, I have to find words which make sense to me about my thought. And if I can't find the right words for what I'm trying to say, it means I haven't really understood what I want to say. Right? So that is the whole process. I read a lot, I listen to people a lot, I take notes, and then I feel like capturing something that I got and to write it down. And so the number of words that you choose and the order in which you use them is what enables your thought to become more clear to you, and hopefully then to another. But I'm not really writing for selling more books. And if people like my books, I'm very pleased. But if too many books are not bought, that's okay with me. So I'm not in the business. Like today, books are being sold by influencers. And they first get known for just being known. There's nothing real that they have done for which they are known. It's just that they're just known. They're just known. And now, influencers first were required to market books. Now, books written by influencers, they're very short. And they're written by artificial intelligence, perhaps with them, about 30, 40 pages. Influencers' books are big books. Now, you tell me, what would be the content of that book? Why would I feel like reading it? I want to read my own book sometime because it helps me to clarify once again, what did I learn? So I did read this book again. I thought I have to learn some more.
And on that, Mr. Maira, you know, I asked you about poetry because this book is written in a manner, and I believe that if you enjoy poetry, your writing is far more lyrical and easy and very story-like. And this book is very much like that. It's a very enjoyable read, of course, with pertinent lessons in this. You mentioned about haiku. Would you want to talk about it very quickly and tell us what that is for the audience?
Yeah. See, haiku is a Japanese poetry form in which you got to say the whole poem in 17 syllables, just 17 syllables. And the haiku poems are always about an observation of something, a moment, a drop of water falling, a sound in the forest, something real, and an idea, an emotion, an idea that it evokes. So both the representation of the actual moment, the fact, and the idea it evokes have to be put together in 17 syllables. So it makes one think more deeply, but what is the essence of the idea? And then in stripping down the expression, instead of a whole book about the idea, in maybe 8 or 9 syllables, the idea, and what is the essence of the reality which will evoke the picture. It's like Picasso's pictures with a few lines can evoke a portrait. What are the 6, 7 points, syllables about the fact, and the 6, 7 syllables which are the idea can I put together to make this poem? So today when we got Twitter, and I also joined Twitter many, many years ago, and then I decided I wouldn't be on Twitter because Twitter used to say 144 characters, which is much more than 17 syllables, or maybe the same, it depends on characters and the syllables. And there you weren't trying to, in Twitter, put out an idea for reflection. It was now response, action, response, action, response. So I realized that's a shallow, chattering conversation, and I don't have any time for it. So I have a Twitter account for many years, it's now I suppose X, and people say, well, you're never on it. I'm busy writing haiku poetry.
But that's great. If you really enjoy poetry, and thank God, when I was talking to Mr. Maira, I knew what haiku was. Thank God for the fact that I lead a book club and I read a little, because had I not, then I wouldn't be sitting here and having a conversation with him today. But having said that, there is this beautiful poetry book. It's a collection of poems by Mr. Maira. Please try and get this. It's called Listening to My Mind, Zen-like Diversions. My God, Mr. Maira. There's leadership, there's transformation, there's ethics, and then there's Zen-like. Do they all go hand in hand? That's the other one I'm going to actually display here for a bit.
Sure.
This is for the records and for the camera. Okay, Mr. Maira, I actually went through, the gist of your books, and I see that the essence of your books explore leadership, governance, and capitalism. If you had to rewrite just one core idea in them based on today's world, what would it be?
Well, actually, I already started to say that since I told you it's linked to the idea of capitalism. And capitalism, there are two, my view, two problems with capitalism. Capitalism is a process of accumulating capital. Yeah? Take capital out of the earth, convert the earth into money capital, take the labor of people, convert it into money capital. Nowadays, of course, put your money into money and get more money capital. It's all about more money capital. Nothing about natural capital or human capital. Capitalism is money capital. And the belief is that if you do accumulate sufficient amount of money capital, you could then use that money capital to create infrastructure that people need, okay? Or enterprises, invest in enterprises that people need. But the capital, if it's in the theory of capitalism, it is about how do you accumulate more capital more efficiently. So you will put your money into those ventures from which you can extract more capital more easily, rather than into a venture in which the capital is safe, but it's not producing anything for you, further accumulation in your lives. So capitalism has gone to the point of breaking down itself. When more capital is being invested in financial ventures only, and so financial ventures produce more financial capital only, which is not being reinvested in any real lives of people. So we have around the world, and in India it's much worse, is that the size of the financial economy, the money being made by financial ventures, banks, venture capitalists, and by people who invest their hard-earned, through real ventures, money into derivatives, stocks, and so on. That economy, it's a virtual economy, is growing. The real economy, in which people do real work to produce real things, which real salt, to get it out, it is not growing as fast. So in other words, this world of finance and capital is taking out value, sucking out, I'm going to use the word, value out of the earth, out of human lives, for the sake of growing itself. This is a problem. So I'm learning not to, when someone says, I'm made so many millions, I actually almost begin to say, poor chap. Because he's saying, I'm good because I made so many millions. Is he able to tell me how much he has helped to improve the actual lives of the poorest people? आपके यहाँ रहने से, दुनिया में आने से किसका फ़ायदा हुआ? आपके बैंक अकाउंट में बहुत फ़ायदा हो गया है, पर उसके साथ भी किसका फ़ायदा हुआ? So this comes back to ethics, as I say. I think capitalism has no ethics. In capitalism, value means valuations. It is not human values. It is not natural values.
That's a powerful shift in thinking, Mr. Maira. It's fascinating how even the strongest ideas must evolve with time. just as, I guess, leadership, governance, and capitalism. Is it safe to say that?
Leadership?
Leadership, governance, and capitalism. I said, is it safe to say that, considering that there is a powerful shift in thinking?
No, look, sometimes I have to ask you to say your question differently.
Okay, I have another. Okay, don't worry. I'll go on to the next one. It's actually about your book, and we can answer that in that. You've spoken about and I'm talking about transformation systems. You've spoken about the importance of collaboration of transformation. How can organizations encourage genuine collaboration in a competitive, results-driven environment?
See, you can't do that because they are the opposite. And so this is a joke, I think, to say, look, we want you to be more competitive and be more collaborative. And I'm going to be assessing you by how good you are compared to others in the same organization. Because we want to be very fair, you must be assessed by how much you contribute. Fair, no?
Yeah.
Because after all, your compensation is coming from the surplus of the corporation. So how much you contribute towards the profit of the corporation is going to determine how much the corporation should pay you. So you're encouraging me to compete with others in my own organization because there's a certain pool only of bonuses you can give or salary increases that I must get more than the other chap. And so then you say to everybody, but collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. Unless we collaborate, the whole will not increase. But you're directing people towards making themselves more competitive and to keep proving to the bosses that I'm better than the other person. So think about the design of our HR systems. We believe, it's a very normal thing to say, it's very fair that people should be given for what they actually have contributed. I say if a person has contributed by enabling someone else to have a greater success in their jobs, should I not reward that person more? Yes, but you say the other person produced the measurable result for the corporation. I said he could not have done it unless this person produced more. Ronaldo's picture was shown. I like Messi much more. Because Ronaldo wants to always be scoring the goals. Messi does score goals, but Messi is known much more for setting up other people to set goals. His teams win more for that reason.
True. I'm a little confused. Is this the time that we're seeing? It's only that much time that's left for the conversation? I can never finish it.
No.
Mr. Maira?
No. They said only 35, you got 45, you ask him to clarify.
Okay, yeah, I don't know which side to look at. Okay, Mr. Maira, again, back on the book. You've written about the role of leadership in reshaping systems. In your view, what's the first step leaders must take to lead the change for systemic change?
I've got a definition of leadership, which I have sort of distilled. Because I've read too many books on leadership in my last 60, 70 years of learning and working. And there are books on leadership all the time. The 6 traits of a leader, the 7 habits of leaders, and book up all the time. And I said, no, really, real leadership is this. Real leader is she or he who takes the first steps towards something that he or she deeply cares about, and in ways that others then wish to follow. Please hear all. Takes the first steps, that's obviously innovation, leadership is doing something first before others have done it. But towards what? Towards something that you deeply care about. Not because the others say you should do these things and we value you more if you do these things. I deeply care about it. And I want to come back to that, what I deeply care about. But look inside yourself, what do you deeply care about? And do it in a way that others wish to follow you. So leadership is not commanding others to do what you want them to do. They feel like going with you, behind you. You are a natural leader. And why is that so? Because you have listened to them and their deep caring. And so when they see you being an innovator, taking risks towards something that matters to them also, they'll say, we will also sacrifice and take risks with you. Mahatma Gandhi, to my mind, represents the greatest transformative leader in the world in the last century. So the statue of Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Patel Mark on the Dundee March, it's again salt, on the Dundee March, shows what? There's an old man with a stick. And a lot of people, Muslim dress, Hindu dress, Sikh dress, women, men, following him. Are they following him because he's paying them something to follow him? Are they following him because he said, if you don't follow, I'll take my stick and hit you and you must follow? No, he's not using any conventional carrots and sticks. The stick is to support his old body. Yet they followed him and took such risks in that movement, which began to overthrow a British Empire. Why did they do it? Because he was leading them on a path against oppression, against being made to feel that any strong, tough person can misuse you and get what they want for themselves out of your lives. He wanted full freedom, Purna Swaraj, social freedom, political freedom, economic freedom. So that was very simply realized. He never said it so many times, but people felt that he understood their needs, their difficulties. And if this is the path that he is on, I will follow. I wish to follow. Mahatma Ji, you don't need to pay me. And if I don't come, you don't punish me. It's okay. But I will volunteer and follow. Those are movements of change.
That's a compelling perspective, Mr. Maira. I have so many questions and I'm getting stressed looking at that time, so I'm going to ask you one lighter one and then some quick questions. If you could give your younger self a piece of advice before you embarked on this journey, what would that be?
My younger self had some knowledge which my younger self forgot. And then when I joined the Planning Commission, my grandson, who was 7, maybe third generation younger self, he said something to me, because I told you the Prime Minister invited me to join the Planning Commission and do something for the poor people of the country, all the people of the country. And wherein my grandson, he lives in America, and my son works in some big computer financial something there. He had come the first time when he was 2 years old and not enough to absorb except Kutub Minar Bada Bada Hai and all the rest. He came when he was 5, and we drove him around here, New Delhi, and he saw, with all the lovely monuments, things which we stopped noticing, that there were beggars living in the middle of New Delhi, Luton's Delhi, on the street corners, sleeping there, cooking there, children naked there, no bathrooms there, and so on. And he asked, why is it that they have to do everything on the street? And it was explained by his mother to him that India is a very poor country, and you lucky fellow, you have a bathroom of your own at home, your bedroom, and she has one, and everything is there, but this is a poor country. And because he was an Indian in the sense, US citizen born there, but grandfather's Indian and proud to be an Indian. He came when he was 7, and first time I wasn't in the Planning Commission, I was just a BCG retiring. This time I was in the Planning Commission. So now we're in a nice car with a red light and all the rest, and driving the same area, Luton's Delhi. And we stopped at a traffic light, and dear Viren exploded. He said, what is the government doing here? Counting daisies? So my son said, was sitting in the car, counting daisies? What do you mean? He said, there's so many poor people here, even more. What is the government doing about it? Now, he had no concept what the government really is, but he was told that the governments are supposed to look after everybody. So my son says to him, quiet, Abhi Dadaji is government now. So he looked at me, I play ball with him and chase him around trees. This is government. So I took him to the Planning Commission to explain to him what the Planning Commission is. So he saw that, big desk, big office, lots of people waiting on me, carrying my stuff around, bringing Coke and biscuits for him and so on. And then he went back to school, and like in the US they do, in the summer, write an essay of 1 page on what you did in the summer or something. So dear Viren, having told me before, when I said to him the Planning Commission makes plans, and I showed it to him, all numbers and big fat books. And he said to me at that time, no, Dajaji, don't write another book, he tells me, but I didn't 22, huh? Don't write another book, do something. He goes back himself saying, don't write another book. and writes a 17-page book on the Planning Commission India in his child's handwriting with pictures. And every page had a picture, which he made, and then some explanation. And the story was about the Planning Commission of India. The last page says the Planning Community of India. Below that is a picture of a big desk and a big man, maybe his Dadaji, and opposite a very poor man, a stick man, with hands folded. And it says below, the planning community is a place where all the poor people of India can come, and there will be someone there to listen to them. And then they will not be poor anymore.
Wow.
I came to that realization, and that also in the essence of the book that you got, as well as the book that has been circulated on democracy. Listening to others, especially to those who you think are not worthy, poor, not educated, is A, a great education. B, it evokes in you a compassion, makes you more human. Spend more time, I realize, listening to people not like yourself. In our country today, with the divisions between South and North and Muslim and Hindu, and so aggravated these divisions by social media, we are no longer listening to people not like ourselves. We are just caught in our echo chambers. People we follow, who follow us, and Twitter, cursing the people on the other side, throwing grenades at them, and if they have power enough, they throw some grenades back at us. And so, are we really creating a better world for everybody, a harmonious, safe world even for ourselves? And I say, listen to the trees, listen to the birds. If you miss the sound of the birds, then you realize your progress is causing harm. So just like they say about the canary in the mine, the canary in the coal mine, the most delicate life, its weakness, becoming weaker or dying, is a sign to you that your world and your life is also dying. Listen to the trees, listen to the birds. There is a poem in this book about listening, in this one. It's also, I think, in the book on the democracy. Listen to people not like yourself. Make it a habit. Make it a habit to listen to people not like yourself. You will learn something about them by asking them, of course, what they do, and then ask them why. They'll be doing different things to you. Why do you feel like doing things differently? And when they tell you the why, their story will come out, how they learned to think and believe differently to yourself. You will understand another human being. And when I listen to a different person to myself, I promptly think, after the person explains why, the person is wrong. This person is not educated. Then I'm listening to my own mind. Why does my mind think that person's thinking is wrong? Maybe the flaw is in the way I think. And so I'm learning about myself.
That's an invaluable piece of advice, Mr. Maira, not just for the younger self, but I think for anyone striving to lead and to adapt, and if only hindsight could be foresight. I see zeros here, but Amit, can I take a few more minutes? I have to, oh no, we are not. So we're not allowed because I wanted you to read a poem and there was a question that I wanted to quickly ask you. But Amit says that we're allowed a poem or the quick questions. I'd rather that you read the poem, Mr. Maira.
I'll have to, since I didn't flag it here.
Okay, so, beg your pardon? Okay, so I had a rapid fire out of the book for Mr. Maira, which was just 5 questions. So, Mr. Maira, are you...
I found the poem also.
Okay, so please read the poem instead.
No,
I'd rather you do that.
Question.
Okay, so what's the one change that you'd want to make in India's economic strategy right now?
I think we have to start by looking what Mahatma Gandhi said, Anantodaya. It was his lesson to every policy maker and to every business people also, I'm saying. Please think about how your product, I'm talking business people, and the service you provide, how in policymakers, the policy you're going to make is going to improve the life of the poorest person that you can see. I sadly find too much of the branding and ventures selling luxury stuff. How does it improve the life of the poorest people? So if you want to create an economy in which the right businesses are growing and doing the right things, and the right policies are being implemented, always, whether you're a business leader or a policy maker, how would the action you take, the product you make, improve the life of the poorest people that you can think of? And not, it shouldn't be something you have to give in charity to them. They should be able to earn enough, and they can't earn too much, but afford your simple salt, right? This is the lesson. And let me read the poem since
Yes,
it's open
please.
now.
Yes.
Okay, this last.
Thank you.
It is time to press the pause button, put our smartphones on silent, shut out the tweets. I can see many smartphones on already. Shut out the tweets, trolls, and sound bites, and stop the windmills in our minds. It is time to listen. To listen to the whispers in the trees, to the caring in our hearts, and most of all, to the voices of people not like us. Then we will learn and find solutions for living together on our shared earth. Thank you.
That's fantastic. And would you believe all my questions after were all about exactly this? And I want to very quickly let you know, and I must tell you that this book, Transforming Systems, New Ethical Toolkit, I thought it was a technology book until I started reading it. It's a beautiful book, very story-laden. You have to read it, and you will realize that the lessons that Mr. Maira has just spoken very briefly about, they are really, really powerful and insightful and will help you. So please get this book. I don't know, it's available online. I'm not certain about the bookstores, but yes, it is available online. You must get it. And for more, please, Mr. Maira, you're going to be around so people can have a conversation with you. Lovely. Thank you very much for your time. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Maira. I wish we had more time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Maira and Shibani, for that insightful session. I request my colleague, Roshan Alexander, to please present Mr. Maira and Shibani with a Sparkle gift card.